Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. This is Gray Hair Dave coming at you on episode number 35 of 5 Minutes with Gray Hair Dave. My name's Dave. I have gray hair. I have a gray beard. I wear glasses a lot like the guy in the podcast artwork, but I still, again, think he's a little better looking than me. Anyways, folks, I'm glad you're back. Thanks for being here. Nobody yet has left me any messages on 5minuteswithgrayhairdave.com letting me know what their first concert was. I'm sorry. This was not an option for you. You're supposed to go do that. Go back to the website for me. Go to the website and leave me a message. Let me know. And today we're going to continue on with the music theme here. Again, because I really like music. And I want to know what kind of music you like and that you listen to today. And if you're a baby boomer, compared to when you were young, when you were a teenager, when you were in your 20s and 30s and 40s. And if you've got more than that, great. I'm going to just stop there. And if you're a baby boomer and you're not a baby boomer and you're another one of the generations, let me know what you're listening to now. Go to the website and let me know. I remember growing up during, elementary and junior high school. And for those of you who don't know what junior high school is, look it up. But basically, it was what you all call middle school now. And I've talked about that before. But anyways, I was into things it was more the, I was into the music of the 60s, the fun ones, the Dave Clark Fives, the Gary Puckett and the Union Gaps, the Beatles a little bit, the Monkees, the Partridge Family. Those are the kinds of things I was listening to in elementary and junior high school. Now, when it comes to high school, I started high school in 1971. And the music was changing in those eras, right around there. Woodstock had happened. I was way too young for Woodstock, folks. But Woodstock had happened, and it's a thing. But music was changing. Jimi Hendrix and his great guitar work. Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. They were great. Creedence Clearwater Revival. One of my brother's favorites besides the Beatles, Bob Dylan. And in my mind, Bob Dylan is a great, great songwriter. I have a hard time listening to his music, but that doesn't mean I don't enjoy what he's written. So I changed to the more of the mood of the era for me, which was, and I think I've mentioned this, the Elton Johns. Not just Elton Johns, Elton John, Chicago. Who else was there at that time? Bob Seger, of course. And as time went on, came Journey and Styx and some of the bands out of Chicago. Now, I know that most of you baby boomers will remember, but do any of you folks that were not baby boomers remember the original name of the band Chicago? It's out there on their first and second album. If you can't remember it, look it up. Go to my website, 5 Minutes with Gray Hair Dave. That's the number 5 Minutes with grayhairdave.com, and leave me a message with what it is. First one to do it gets a keychain, or maybe even a t-shirt, because I've got some t-shirts coming, which I think they're pretty cool looking. But anyways, Chicago had another name, and Chicago had a great, great relationship with David Foster, who is a phenomenal songwriter, and she's just He's great. He still is. He's still out there going at it. So is the band Chicago. They're still out there touring. Not all of them, but whoever's left and whoever they brought in. The same with Styx. Even when Styx broke up, Dennis DeYoung, I believe he's still doing some things. I'm not so sure after COVID. I haven't paid as much attention to him, but he was one of the people that I enjoyed his music, just like Styx. Steely Dan. I wasn't a big Steely Dan fan per se, but I did like their music. So I wasn't like out there for it, but I liked their music. And then you got as the 70s evolved, 75, 76, 77, I mean, the Barry Manilow's were out there. And people like that who I really, really like. I've always liked. I've gone to many of his concerts. And then disco came. And then you had the groups like Earth, Wind, and Fire. Oh my gosh, are they fantastic? The Silhouettes. So many of them. And as all that's going on, in my life with music, then comes these shows on PBS, and I'm sure a lot of us baby boomers watch it. Some of us still subscribe to PBS. I have not done that in a while, but they had these shows on during Sweeps Week where or that wasn't called Sweeps Week. I think it was called Send Me Money Week, because that's what they were asking for for you to subscribe and become a member and all this fun stuff. But they had the oldies on. They had the doo-wop people on. In the 80s and 90s, 2000s, they still do it, where they bring as many of these people back as they can who are still alive, and have them sing so people will donate and subscribe to the program. And I like that music too. And as time goes on, I mean, you go through the 80s, it's still rock and roll. It's still a little bit of the disco scene, but it's not as much as it was, but still a huge Manilow fan. And, and then I got into some country music, which I always enjoyed, because country music went from, and don't take me wrong, folks, please, I don't mean this to offend anybody, but it went from George Jones's to George Strait to Alabama. It went from Charlie Pride to Darius Rucker now. So you had Alabama, you had the Oak Ridge Boys, you had all those big names. And then starts in the 90s what I call the mega shows. The Garth Brooks of the world, who were not filling up amphitheaters, even though they would. They were filling up stadiums, folks. Stadiums. Humongous stadiums. And that's when country music kept evolving and evolving and evolving. And I still listen to country music now. When I had Sirius XM, I was listening to country music, and I was listening to the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, and a lot of classic vinyl. I loved it. So what did you listen to? Leave me a message on 5minuteswithgrayhairdave.com with a little microphone in the bottom right-hand corner. Just click on it, leave me a message. Let me know what you listened to. What you listened to back then, as well as what are you listening to now, because your tastes sometimes change. Sometimes they don't. So here we are, folks, at that time of day where it is just that good old time for because I can, I believe I must, or I have to, because I am so uppity. What is up with uppity people? Somebody when I were talking the other day, and he goes, I don't know what it is about that guy. I don't dislike him, but he's just uppity. Now, let's be honest. Uppity is not a word you hear much anymore. But I understand being full of yourself and talking about yourself in the third person, which I do once in a while. But this person was talking about themselves in the fourth person. I'm going, Holy cow. Oh, this is weird. This other guy and I were just talking, and he goes, yeah, like I said, I don't hate the guy. He's just uppity. And it's funny. So if you are that type of person, folks, who is that way, where you're not self-centered but self-serving, do yourself a favor and let's try and get some humor in your life. Because I firmly believe humor brings you back down to reality. And in reality is where the good things happen. You can be as pretentious as you want to be, but reality is more fun. You can be as high strung as you want to be. Relaxing and having fun is more fun as it is. So that's my rant for the day. I want to thank you all for listening. Please, again, the number 5 minutes with grayhairdave.com. Leave me a message. Folks, don't forget to tell your friends. Gray Hair Dave, he's that goofball. He talks a lot about music, but he talks about other things too. It's just 10 minutes. It says 5 minutes of Gray Hair Dave, but it's 10 to 12 minutes. Monday through Friday. Today is Friday, folks, so nothing for the next couple of days, but I am going to do some recording this weekend and maybe put out a surprise or two. We'll have to see what happens. Stay tuned. So, tell your friends. If your friends don't know how to use podcasts, don't understand what they are, do me a favor and show them. Folks, you all have a great weekend. And from Gray Hair Dave, bye-bye.